Hi, and thank you very much for joining Avril and myself as we sail through the Mediterranean in our first ever season of cruising. So far, we have cruised the length of the Balearics, crossed to Alghero in Sardinia, sailed down the west coast of Sardinia all the way to Cagliari before crossing to Bizerte in Tunisia. We sailed the north coast of Tunisia before finally ending up in Port Yasmin Hammamet, where we spent a whole month getting through a whole bunch of boat works. If you'd like to know more about the boat work that we carried out in Tunisia, please check out our last video where we go through the complete list of works and give you an idea of what life is like as a cruiser in Port Yasmin Hammamet. We were lucky enough to have several days of fine weather right from the day that we planned to leave. The only downside to that is that there was very light winds. We didn't really mind though, because we wanted to practice using the asymmetrical spinnaker that we had just bought off our friend Robin. And besides that, we weren't in a rush, so we were happy to take our time. Goodbye, Tunisia. What was your favourite part about Tunisia? And don't say oggies.
Oh, oggies. Yes. What was the name? It wasn't a shawarma, but it was like a beef shawarma.
It was a shawarma, but they call it a Lebanese.
With like spicy sauce. That was good.
Oh, very good.
It was very spicy, but it was very good too.
Excellent.
And yeah. Oh, and the donuts from Sidi Wasaid. Yeah, they were good.
Okay. The beignets.
Sugary donuts. Yeah.
Very good.
That was good.
Anything that else wasn't food?
Not really. I'm joking. No, we had a good time. We had fun.
We got a lot of boat work done. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, it was good.
We picked up a stray. Meet Robin. He's coming with us to Malta at a very, very slow speed.
Yeah.
So most of the morning we've had less than 5 knots of wind, but with the asymmetrical spinnaker up, we still managed to plod along at least 3 knots. The wind seems to be picking up a little bit now, but it's still a bit, it's a little bit fickle. But early days yet, it's only been a few hours. See how it goes.
And we are this far.
And we
can still see the coastline very clear. You can still see the houses.
Coastline, but Robin is busily working on our lunch.
Oh, I think we might have something.
Oh, full of shit, no way.
For real?
I can see something. That was just tiny. It's tiny.
That's a fish.
Okay, wait, I'm going.
Joking. Oh, what? Nice.
Woo!
Oh, no, it might be a plastic bag. No, it's plastic on the bloody...
Oh no. Are you sure?
Yeah. No, I'm not sure, no, but... Oh, do you want to film it?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Got it.
There it is.
Woohoo! Yeah.
Yeah.
We never seem to tire of having dolphins play in our bow waves, and in Tunisian waters we always seem to have them for company.
Oh wow, 3 of them! Woohoo! Come back, babies!
For crossings, we've started getting into the habit of doing a lot of food prep before we even leave the dock. That way, if the weather's a little bit rough, we don't have to worry about cooking an extensive meal in the galley. We can simply heat something up. But because the weather was so calm on that first day, I decided to go down into the galley and give our crew one last properly cooked meal in Tunisian waters.
What are you cooking for us today?
All right, so I figured because it is our last meal in Tunisia, or at least our last meal in Tunisian waters, I'll cook an Arabic meal. Also, because it's the only Arabic meal I know how to cook.
And it's not like we don't have this meal like every now and then because we love it.
It is a shakshuka, so I've sauteed onions and capsicum or peppers, and I've added some spices like paprika and cumin and chickpeas, and now the tin tomatoes have gone in, and onto that crack about 5 eggs to cook on top, cover it with some cheese, and we're going to eat it with some Arabic bread or shawarma bread.
Sounds good.
Pretty gourmet for a crossing meal.
Yeah, I think we're making the most of this calm waters, which is great.
And the waters are flat will actually do the cooking.
Rico.
I think it's just the lure, don't I?
You sure?
What is that old bucket? Not really in.
Okay.
I saw it jump over the
Okay, maybe it wasn't exactly where the rod is.
Oh, it's weird because it moved from one
I
side.
saw something like behind.
Fine, 6 knots is not going to be like making a video of that.
Well, it's not out there.
It is.
Before I saw it.
Alright, sunset on the first day, crossing from Tunisia to Malta. And I realized I've forgotten that she's at the helm.
I looked at the camera and I lose my comms.
We had some decent wind there for a while, but it kept on switching around on us. So we're determined not to switch the motor on. That sound is the generator. So we're kind of going too far north, then we're going too far south. We'll see what happens a little bit later. Just for a moment, So we made pretty slow progress during the night. We had to motor a little bit, probably about, Abdul reckons more than 3 hours, but I think it was about 3 hours. And the other times it was very slow, like 3.5 knots, sometimes 4, but it was more or less in the direction that we wanted.
And there is some very nice weather.
It's a
The
bit of
horizon.
rain. Otherwise it's quite nice at the moment. Cruising with the asymmetrical, it's very calm. And 1.5 knots speed. It'll do us for a little bit.
Oh, 4.8.
5, here we
Wow.
go. Es tranquilo ahora, pero... ¿Qué es esa? Lluvia, pero creo que no hay mucho viento. The weather on the horizon did start to look a little bit suspicious, so we doused the spinnaker and switched back over to the jib. Immediately after, we were joined by the biggest pod of dolphins that Abdul and I had ever seen. There was at least 10 to 15 at first, all taking turns playing in a bow wave. Hi. At one point, 3 or 4 of them started getting up to some pretty naughty business in that bow wave, and that went on for about a minute or so until it was like they all received a message at the same time and vanished. When we turned around to look where they had gone, it seemed like there was about 50, so many dolphins all jumping out into the distance.
No.
One on top of the other.
What?
There's like hundreds of them. What the hell was that?
For us, this is very strange behavior. So if there are any dolphin experts out there that know what they were up to, please leave a comment and explain to us what on earth was going on. The wind really did start to pick up to very steadily between 15 and 20 knots. So we put in a reef and we started making some really great ground, averaging between 7.5 to 8 knots. It was some very nice sailing. Sailing, we've had a visit from a pod of dolphins, we've had reefed sailing in 60 knot winds, and everything now we're cruising along pretty well, 11 to 12 knot winds, and kind of making good progress, and so it stays that way. We might put a reef in for the night, just in case the wind does pick up a bit, but hopefully these winds get pretty sustained. To top things off, our night shift went beautifully. We had a consistent 10 to 15 knots of wind, and with one reef in, we were still doing a decent 5 knots or more. And so we didn't really have too much to worry about and actually enjoyed that night of sailing. One of the things I love most about these kinds of crossings is waking up after a break, coming up on deck, and seeing an entire new country or island right in front of you. And that was definitely the case the next morning when I came up on deck and was presented with the whole west coast of Gozo in Malta. It was just before sunrise and it was so lovely to sit back with a cup of coffee and just watch the scenery go by.
Quick keel for shit.
Hi, it is 8 o'clock local time and we are in between the two main islands of Malta, and even though we haven't technically made it safe to port, it's all very close and we'll soon be in Valetta, even if we're a little bit tired. Audio, ¿qué haces? ¿Estás despierta?
Yeah, be careful it doesn't get blown out your hands.
I wonder how we're doing. Buen día.
Yeah, Malta.
Totalmente destruidos. Estamos justo en ese pedacito de agua que hay en el medio de la isla, como pasando de un lado al otro. Así que, ay, se me cae. Estamos yendo a Valetta a hacer el check-in, digamos, ¿no?
Sí.
Reservamos una Marina por 2 noches, así que bueno. ¿Cuánto falta, digamos, en tu opinión, para llegar? Estamos yendo muy despacito, acá no hay nada de viento. ¿Cuánto falta para llegar? Quizás.
Y 2 horas y porque después de este canal hay más viento, así que en 20 minutos vamos a ver.
Okay.
Alright, we're almost all the way through this passage that is in between the two main islands of Malta, and last night went really well. We were cruising along mostly at about between 5 and 6 knots. We had a reef in and a constant 10-11 knots of wind, and it was actually really tranquil, if not a bit rocky towards the end there. But we're actually going to arrive, I think, ahead of time, just because of yesterday afternoon sailing and last night sailing. So all is well. We just have to get around this headland and another 10 miles southeast, and we're in Valetta to do check-in and get our Marina berth. So I've been trying so hard to catch a fish in the Mediterranean, but the fish now come to me. This poor little guy, flying fish, must have he's dripping. He must have flew out and went head first into the boat. You got clocking some speed, mate. Oh well, goodbye. As we expected, there was quite a bit of wind blowing once we got through that passage in between Malta and Gozo. So we simply dropped the main and sailed more or less downwind, just with the jib and the mizzen. And this made for a really easy homeward stretch to Valetta. place we were heading for was Roland Marina in Mazamjet Harbour. We chose this marina because it was reasonably priced and well situated between Sliema, which is kind of a newer post-industrial area, and the old town of Valetta. Malta has been at the top of my travel hit list for some time. So to finally make it to Valetta in my own boat, passing below these incredible ancient city walls and surrounded by forts and little harbours was absolutely incredible, and it's not something that I'll easily forget.
Llegamos a Malta. Muy lindo.
Bienvenidos a Malta. We docked at Roland Marina, tidied up the boat, and then immediately set off on foot to the port police so that we could check into the country. It seems very laid back here. Because it was a Sunday, the marineros at the marina told us, nah, don't worry about it, just wait until tomorrow. But we really wanted to get checked into the country because our friend Robin had to fly out the next day and really needed that stamp in his passport. Once we got there, we discovered that the port police office was closed, but on closer inspection, there was a sign on the door with a phone number on it. The gentleman at the other end told us that he'd be there in about half an hour, so we took that opportunity to go get some lunch and a well-deserved beer, of course, before heading back to get checked in. As I'm sure many cruisers are already aware, in Malta they stamp your crew list and not your passport, prompting many non-Schengen cruisers to use it as a bit of a Schengen visa loophole. I'm not sure exactly how effective that is, but I'm going to wrap up our experience once we go through the process of checking out at a later date. Thank you so much for joining us on this crossing from Tunisia to Malta. And please like this video, but also subscribe, because in the next video, we'll be taking you with us as we go all around Malta, Comino, and Gozo. Until then, thank you so much. Bye.